When I was 22, I was applying for jobs. I had my nipples pierced and my lip pierced, and they weren't hiring me. Maybe I should have worn a shirt. Welcome to the Nashville Money Guys YouTube channel. My name is Brandon McDonald. Over the last 15 years, my two partners and I have completed about 400 projects between rehabs, new construction, development deals, etc., and we've shifted our focus going forward into hard money lending. We're an asset-based hard money lender out of Nashville, Tennessee. If you are in the southeast region of the United States and you need money for your next flip, please look us up, NashvilleMoneyGuys.com. I appreciate you being here. Let's jump in. We have different versions of ourselves, like first date version of you, church version of you, job interview version of you. Remember? Why would we do this? We do this because we want to present the best version of ourselves, which the best version of ourselves is not what we necessarily think that version is. It's what we believe other people perceive is the best version of us. We present the best version that we believe fits that environment. If you're watching this, I assume that you know who Alex Hormozi is. When I had never heard of him, the first video that I saw of his that came across YouTube was him, his face. He's got a hat. He's got the nose strip, like the Breathe Right nose strip. Big, huge, full beard, long hair. Good title, interesting title. And I was curious, but I automatically was a little just inherently put off by his appearance. And again, I understand I was judging him. The reason I clicked was good title and lots of views. And I thought to myself, this guy's getting a lot of views. He must have something good to say. Now, that doesn't count on a channel like ours, which is very small, which you can help with, by the way. Please like and subscribe. Now, that doesn't mean that a video like this one, which presumably while you're watching it doesn't have a lot of views, doesn't hold a lot of actual credibility. What I'm talking about was it took overcoming for me to click on that video of Alex because of the way he looked. I inherently judged him, assuming that he was not going to be a person that I could learn from or that was going to be successful based on his face. Should it be this way? No. I'm just being honest, and I'm just telling you, when I saw that, I automatically made some assumptions, and human beings are doing that all the time, whether we like to admit it or not. The overcoming for Alex took about 30 seconds of the video. Again, great title, information that I think that I wanted, lots of views, which tells me that there are other people that are watching, so there's credibility there. But then within 30 seconds, he shares exactly what he's done, creating Gym Launch, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of transactions and worth of net worth. So I'm hooked at that point, and I'm willing to overcome flannel, shorts, Breathe Right nose strip, janky little hat, long hair, long beard. Long hair and long beard don't really bother me, but I certainly judged him for the other things. I am not Alex Hormozi. Most likely you are not Alex Hormozi either. So why would we want to try to create a deficit for ourselves right off the bat? What's the point of me even talking about this? The point is to get what you want. We buy houses. Us. Which means we talk to sellers. And if you're not talking to sellers, you should be talking to sellers. Don't just like use realtors and stuff. What do we want from sellers? We want them to sell their house to us as cheaply as possible. No, I'm just kidding. That's not actually what you want. That may be the end result if you can solve a problem for them. What we want is to create rapport, to create trust, and to create credibility as quickly as possible. And what is the number one way to do that? It's to not automatically create objections right offhand. The consequences of not doing that as quickly as possible is more work and less money. There's a lot of people that are watching this that are probably thinking, I should not have to do this. And you're probably right. But there is something that's written in our DNA as human beings that makes us watch our environment and makes us prejudge based on history. We have created stereotypes based on past history, based on stories, based on potentially even things that are not true. But in this environment, why would we not lean into those stereotypes? Let me give you some examples. I've got a buddy who is a military guy, jacked, just a monster, tattoos all over his arms, on his hands. Like, he looks like the type of person that you would not want to meet in an alley. And it's mainly because you really wouldn't. What are the objections that that guy is going to have to overcome as he's knocking on doors, on people's houses? You think if he's standing 3 feet from the door and somebody cracks the door, they're going to be super excited to open that door fully for him? No. Because humans are inherently smart. we are inherently going to go, that guy looks like he could be a threat. So what does he do? He knocks on the door, he backs off the front porch 15 feet, and he stands there. And when they crack the door, he says, hey, my name is blank. I'm a guy from the military, and I'm transitioning over into this type of business, and here's what I'm wondering. So what did he automatically do? He's allowing enough space for people to open the door enough so that he can speak. He's immediately explaining why he looks the way he looks. I'm a guy from the military, where we appreciate those types of things about a person. I want the guys in the military to look like they can kick your ass. The other thing that he's creating with that type of intro, for a lot of people, that talking point about him being in the military, which is absolutely true, he's not lying about any of the stuff, automatically creates some rapport. And the fact that he says, I'm transitioning out of the military and here's a new business that I'm starting. Here's the reason he looks the way he looks. Here's where he's going. And the reason this conversation might not be like hyper smooth because he's new, but here's where he's going. And I can potentially help him get there. He's taken something about himself that could be perceived as negative and he's rolled it into something that is super positive. Now, is he going to run into people every once in a while that are like really anti-military and they just slam the door in his face? Yeah, of course. There's always going to be those group of people that no matter what, you're never going to be able to figure them out. But yeah, you just go knock on the next door. You just keep moving on. But overall, leaning into a persona that for the majority of people fits is the best way to move forward. I started when I was 25. So overcoming the objection of youth, which is very common. Like there's probably a lot of people that are watching this that are in their early 20s, late teens, early 20s. Do you have a couple $100,000 sitting in your bank account as a guy in his early 20s? Like I guess if you found crypto when you were 10, then maybe you've done it. But most people are going to perceive youth as inexperience and is lacking the ability to follow through, which is to close. So what I would do when I was young was I worked for a company. Now, it was my company and it was a legit company, but I would talk about the company that I worked for. Logo on the polo t-shirt, hair done, or a hat with the same logo, knocking on the door wearing khaki pants. Yeah, did I like wearing khaki pants? No. Did I like wearing polos? No. Did I like wearing the hat? Yeah, the hat was fine. I know the thumbnail says lie and wear a suit. I don't actually mean lie. Obviously, I've got to get you to click on the video somehow. If you've clicked and you've made it this far, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. I appreciate that. What if you're a woman? One of the reasons I keep going back to like door knocking is I think it's the most concentrated example that I can give. If you can figure out how to break the ice of a completely cold seller where you have invaded their home space, you can do almost anything. It is like a freaking superpower. If you're a woman, how much easier is it for you to get people to open the door? Because you may not be perceived as a threat, right? Now, again, I'm just going to throw some stereotypes out there. Does a woman need to step 15 feet off the front porch? Maybe not. Maybe she needs to step 10. Maybe she can stay right there because maybe people are way more excited about, hey, you're a beautiful woman and you're on my front porch. I'm going to open the door for you. But that's something that's worth testing. So try it. Back off 10 feet. And then what if you run into somebody you're just getting like the misogynist vibe? Well, okay. I work for a company. My boss, he. Like, lean into that. Does it suck? Yeah. But what are we trying to do? You're trying to get what you want, which is build rapport, build credibility, build trust, buy the house. Is it worth dealing with somebody who's probably a little bit of an asshole and they shouldn't be that way? Potentially, yeah, if the deal is good enough. It's a temporary relationship, right? Again, do I wish it was this way? No, but it is this way. So embracing the truth of these situations and then going forward with that information is the best way for you to actually get what you want. What we've traditionally found is that women have an easier time getting in front of sellers. They have a harder time with contractors. So if you're a woman and you're dealing with a contractor, what do? Pull up to the job site, show up on time, change your shoes, put on rubber boots or something like that so that you can walk around the job site, look like you care, carry a notebook, and make notes. I do the same exact thing. I carry rubber boots in the back of my truck because if I'm wearing nice shoes, I don't want to wear them in the job site. Again, that's an either sex thing. That creates credibility either way. I knew enough to prepare for this situation. Walk around carrying a notebook. Talk to the contractor about what certain things are in certain areas that they believe would need to be repaired. Make the notes. If they're asking for input, You say, I've got a really detailed walkthrough video of this, and I've got a buddy who is a general contractor. He's too busy to give me an estimate for my job, so I'm getting you and 2 other people to give me an estimate. And what is that doing? That's not telling him I know everything. It's telling him I'm going to find people who know everything, and I'm not going to stop until I find the right person, right? Fairly easy way to overcome an objection with a contractor. Now, if taken to the extreme, are you going to deal with these people? No, you're just going to can somebody. Like if they're just being ridiculous the entire time, racist, misogynist, whatever the thing is, you're just going to say, I'm not dealing with this. And you move on to the next thing. You move on to the next contractor or the next seller. What I'm talking about is overcoming the small things, the nuances. The reason that we would mirror somebody if they're standing there with their arms folded, why we would fold our arms. Why are we doing that? We're creating a connection with this person that they don't even know exists. Putting your best face forward is not determined by you. It is determined by the person with that perception. So you may have to chameleon a little bit along the way. Now, don't ever lie. I'm never saying to actually lie. What I'm saying is recognize the situation, recognize the nuance of the situation, and be willing to shift a little bit. 10 years ago, we bought a U-Haul truck for $3,500, like a really crappy used U-Haul. You imagine what a $3,500 U-Haul looks like. We barely washed it. And on the side of it, we paid somebody, I think almost that much money to put We Buy Houses and then our phone number on there. And what we were going to do was basically put tools in there, drive it to job sites, park it at Home Depot, just kind of have it for around town in use. It is the only marketing dollars that we spent that we had zero return on. I can literally not think of one more campaign that we've ever done where we didn't have a return. But why did that not work? People's perception of somebody who would put We Buy Houses on the back of a super crappy $3,500 U-Haul, they may not have consciously thought this, but what they thought was, that person cannot actually buy my house. We used to show up to bank meetings in Jason's Honda Civic. 3 guys, 2-door Honda Civic. I think the suits we were wearing were literally worth more than the actual car. And I think that we bought our suits for like $20 each. Like, worthless car. And what would we do? We'd park in a different parking lot and then we would walk over there because we didn't want the bank to see that we were driving a $2,000 car. Now, was it smart for us to drive a $2,000 car at the time? Yeah, absolutely. Why? No payments. Car worked fine. It wasn't a thing that helped our credibility, but if they don't see it, it's not hurting our credibility. So literally, we would just park across the street and walk over there to the bank. I could probably think of 50 more stories that I've heard from other people or that we have ourselves, but I think you get the point. Recognize the stereotypes and objections to create credibility, rapport, and trust as fast as you can, overcoming objections, and you will get to your goals quicker. For all your hard money needs, check out NashvilleMoneyGuys.com. Thanks for watching. I'm Brandon McDonald.